A kingpin linking 4 continents with massive loads of drugs and dirty money has been clobbered by arrests all around him, including his childhood friend who was his second in command, his money men, and even his lawyer, police say. The new arrests come as the alleged boss himself, Fikri Amellah, a 44-year-old Moroccan, is already behind bars after this arrest in Barcelona last year. Woe is he, but he's had a wild ride. The Mob reporter here with news of a wave of arrests and raids police claim finally dismantles a transnational criminal network built by Fikri over 20 years that connected South American cartels, African smugglers, European distributors, and Asian money launderers. From desperate narcos sinking their own ship to hide tons of cocaine, to a fugitive outing himself in a steamy music video, from frantic speedboat smuggling to washing profits with fabulously expensive watches. This tale has it all. Let me tell you about it. The new arrests were announced November 15, 2022, targeting a major organization moving cocaine from South America and hashish from Africa into Europe. But Fikri has only himself to blame for these losses. When police surprised him at his home in Barcelona just before Christmas in 2021, they caught him with 5 phones and 2 laptops, all sparking with activity as he allegedly coordinated several operations underway on the high seas and along the coast. Fikri was billed as one of the most wanted drug traffickers in the world. Police then spent almost a year analyzing the phones, computers, and documents seized in the raids. It helped map out an organization and sparked this week's arrests. Among those pinched, police say, is Fikri's right-hand man, identified as Adil Abdid, who has been at his side since they were kids, in Morocco, growing up together in Al Hoceima on Africa's Mediterranean coast, where they first learned to sail and fish. Also nabbed by police is a prominent lawyer who specialized in drug cases. Both men were arrested in Malaga, on Spain's Costa del Sol. Among the allegations facing Fikri and his co-accused is moving millions around the world to launder money, much of it through Dubai, a gleaming city in the desert of the Arabian Peninsula. Mules and money men converted dirty money into high-value goods, including luxury yachts, restaurants, real estate, and rare and collectible watches, costing up to 800,000 euros each, and then shuttling them back to Spain, police say. Companies in Britain, Belgium, Germany, France, Italy, Ireland, and Turkey were used to move revenue, according to Spain's Civil Guard. Investigators say they've linked the latest 10 people to mega loads of dope seized in various countries in recent years. There are as many sensational stories about this network as there were bricks and bales in their inventory. Okay, that's probably not true. It moved a lot of weight. But here's a good one nonetheless. One cocaine shipment attributed to Fikri's network was aboard the merchant vessel Nahir. That's a 170-foot-long ship that crossed the Atlantic, docked in Mauritania in northwest Africa before heading north towards the Spanish coast. There it was supposed to meet a flotilla of speedboats to unload 3 tons of cocaine, but bad weather scrubbed the rendezvous. Meanwhile, the Nahir's travels did not go unnoticed. A joint operation by Spanish police and a Navy warship scrambled to meet it on the high seas. When the crew aboard the Nahir spotted approaching ships, they realized they'd been caught, but decided not to give up easily. As officers boarded the ship and started a search, the narcos vented it, causing rapid flooding below decks to sink it, along with its 3,000 kilos of coke, trying to shift the evidence out of reach onto the ocean floor. You can see dramatic footage here of officers on board the Nahir as the ship was flooding. It almost worked. Seawater capsized the boat after 2 hours as police and sailors hauled out the crew and the cargo, but it failed to sink completely. The 9 crew members, seen here disembarking the naval vessel, were rescued and arrested. They were of Georgian and Turkish nationality. Local press say that only half the coke was retrieved before the ship flipped over, with the remainder still underwater as the upside-down ship remained in port for a year as people squabbled over who would pay to refloat it. The ship was recently sold as scrap metal. Presumably the buyer only gets to salvage the ship, not any remaining bricks. Fikri, police allege, was the major supplier to 2 of Spain's epic hash trafficking organizations. That of a man known as the Lionel Messi of hashish, who I told you about a few weeks ago, and the clan de Los Castaña. Los Castaña translates into English as the Chestnuts, which, to be frank, doesn't sound all that edgy or intimidating. I'll stick with Los Castaña. The clan was allegedly led by the Tejon brothers, Isco and Antonio. That clan once sent 20 masked and armed men into a hospital to bust out one of their colleagues who was being treated inside while in police custody. Now that's ballsy. Antonio, the younger brother, was nabbed in June 2018 when officers locked down a whole neighborhood near the Strait of Gibraltar to ensure he didn't escape. Isco, however, was on the run for 2 years until he guest starred in a racy music video. Police were astounded to see Isco in a video, climbing out of a silver Bentley Continental with the musician, and the pair then swaggering into a party filled with bikinis, dancers, and endless bottles of booze. The outcry over that provocative video heaped such pressure on Isco, he surrendered shortly after. The Tejon brothers are still waiting for their trial, expected to be one of the region's biggest, a maxi trial of more than 150 accused. Meanwhile, Fikri is accused of feeding the insatiable appetite for hash that traffickers were flooding into Europe by speedboat, skating across the narrow strait between North Africa and Europe. Fikri, police say, expanded into cocaine, becoming an important part of what's known as the African route, which uses Africa as a way station between South America, where cocaine is produced, and Europe, one of its best retail markets. Now, regular viewers of the Mob Reporter should really start seeing how pieces of the global underworld fit together to form a broader, bigger, richer picture. You might recall the hijinks of the Lionel Messi of hashish from my video last month, documenting how he became one of Europe's most wanted. I told you about Isco, Los Castaña, and his hilarious arrest in a video 4 years ago, and I detailed the importance of the African route to the world's drug trade in a video in May. I'll link to all these videos in the description below if you need to catch up. They all now fit into one story. This shows how the stories I tell often flow together because many criminal organizations around the world overlap and connect through people, process, and product. It's called organized crime for a reason. Please tap the thanks button under the video to help me out, or join me on Patreon for perks and bonus content. That's at patreon.com/themobreporter. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video. That helps too. Thanks for watching.